Look, I love Steam, you love Steam, anyone who's a gamer loves Steam, but that's not to say they ain't without their problems. I've been following this horses situation for a while now, and this is not the first time a horror game that seemingly is following TOS has been censored for no apparent reason. So welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host and Idol, and yeah, my boy Trace did a video on this. Destin Lajari exposes the harshest game, and it's bad. Now, look, guys, Steam is awesome, right? Steam is probably the best way to play games in the modern era. However, there has been an increase, a ramp up in games being removed from Steam or straight up not being allowed to the point where GOG coming in clutch. They're coming in as a competitor. They've already made a statement saying that they will allow the horses game on their platform, and we've heard the developers say that the reason they got rejected does not make sense because it was rejected for, uncouth content, basically, which isn't even in the game. So we're going to get into this before we do hit that subscribe button. I'm a Nerdy News channel. I cover nerdy news every day. And let's see what Trey's got to say.
Okay, so one of the things that we've discussed ad nauseum over the last year is censorship. I mean, we've talked about censorship when it comes to Stellar Blade. We've talked about censorship when it comes to what games should be made and what shouldn't be made.
And not only is he correct, first of all, censorship has been an ongoing issue for the longest period of time, whether it be censorship in anime, whether it be censorship in music. I mean, there's always been crusades of individuals that fight for free expression that, hey, we didn't like the Satanic Panic of the 80s. We didn't like that you were trying to take away Twisted Sister and Dungeons & Dragons. Or in the 90s when they decided to make, Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball and all these other anime heavily censored. And we're seeing it on the gaming front now more than ever. And what makes this such a devastating blow is that Steam has always been this sort of bastion of anti-censorship. That was the one place gamers could congregate where they knew they were going to get the games as is, so long as the developers themselves didn't go in and censor it. Steam was always very hands-off with that.
Talked about a lot of censorship stuff, and one of the big stories that's come out over the past year is Steam removing games that are apparently, too graphic or whatever the case may be. These games, I'm pretty sure I just saw a horse about to ram another horse. Anyway, that's
no, you did see a horse that was about to ram another horse. But here's the thing: so Steam claimed that the game, the trailer for the game included human intercourse, which of course they're saying would violate their terms of service, despite the fact that we've got myriads of Steam games throughout their entirety of their library and history that have far worse on there. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, the trailer didn't have that whatsoever. Again, I mean, the trailer can be on YouTube. We're viewing it right now. A little bit of censorship to it for TOS purposes that Atreus likely did himself. Or maybe it isn't the original trailer. Either way, Steam is now making this choice. Now, when the collective shout stuff went down, if you remember that from several months ago, the payment processor issues, now, by the way, there's no proof that this is correlated to collective shout or this is a payment process thing. But the reason I bring it up is because me and several others immediately jumped to this is going to affect horror games more than anything else. This isn't about your Gooner games. This isn't about, all big flopping titties everywhere. That these sorts of just large, over-encompassing umbrella terms and mass vague terminology is going to affect horror games. And not only have by the way, Horses isn't the first example of this. We covered that Red Lake game literally a couple weeks ago, experiencing the same thing. Now, thankfully, they seem like they've been able to fight against it, but we'll see. We're still waiting for updates on that. But the point is, we're going to be seeing this likely more and more. We've got 2 examples of it just in the past month alone.
besides the point. Speaking of horse, there's a game called Horses. This is an independent horror game that's supposed to be coming out soon, or if it has come out already, I think it has come out. Oh yeah, matter of fact, it came out on the 2nd. And apparently Steam refused to ship it. This comes from IGN. Indie horror game Horses is preparing to launch on December 2nd, but it won't be coming to Steam anymore as Steam has banned the game for reasons that remain unclear. According to the developer, this ban seems likely to result in the shutdown of their entire studio. That was reported on the 25th of November. And if that's the case, that's truly unfortunate. I mean, if the game is terrible, then, I don't...
Well, and here's the thing. It goes beyond that. This game, so the studio has released several games before. To my knowledge, they were on Steam. This is supposed to have been their biggest release to date. They've had multiple investors drop. They basically had to continue to try. They had enough money to put the game out, and they're likely, it is likely going to bankrupt them because so many investors and other individuals that were financing them to get this out there are now pulling out, if I'm remembering the story correctly, because if it's not going to be on the largest platform out there, I mean, if Steam is going to host it, there's going to be no recouping the money on the game, so they're likely not going to be able to make anything else going forward. Hopefully they find a way against that. Hopefully the game being put on GOG is going to solve that problem. But I mean, look, as much as we all love GOG, I love GOG, they're nowhere near Steam in terms of like the size and the storefront and whatnot, or of course like public consciousness, how often it's used. Man, I buy stuff from GOG, but GOG is good old games. I usually buy it or use it to buy older games that just aren't available on Steam. I won't lie, I often don't even think about the fact that there are new and recently released titles on GOG.
Really care, but like, I mean, it's an indie dev, and we don't want indie devs to quit because they made terrible games. We want them to continue striving. That's how we got games like Megabunk, right? So before we get into the story, I just want to let you guys know we're currently sitting at 19,069 subscribers. Holy.
Nice.
Now, considering the fact that I was stuck
Drop my
at
boy a sub. It's
17,
good dude.
18,000 all year because of YouTube algorithm, man, it'd be crazy if we can get to 20,000 by New Year. So I'll post the progress and then we'll go from there.
And while we're at it, your boy is almost at 10,000. We're like 1,300 away. So if you're seeing this and you're not subbed, do me a solid as well. Sub, and I'll link the trays and stuff in the video below.
Anyway, let's go.
Comments below.
So yeah, so Valve actually responded to the reason they banned it, I suppose. They said, we reviewed the game back in 2023. At the time, the developer indicated with their release date in Steamworks that they plan to release a few months later. Based on the content in the store page, we told the developer we would need to review the build. This happens sometimes if content on the store page causes concern that the game itself might not fall within our guidelines.
Explain to me what didn't fall within the guidelines. Like, this is a horror game. Explain to me what didn't fall within the guidelines when you guys have, like, not only do you have on your storefront, but just got a DLC, Femboy Fuda House, which is full on, like that, it shows full on penetration. It is quite literally a porn game, right? I would say look up screenshots, but I wouldn't want to put that on you. But to prove a point as to what Steam has, I have looked them up, and it was for research. I don't want to hear nothing. I can already hear you on the comments now. But the point is, if Steam is willing to host something like Femboy Fuda House, which is just straight up gay porn, the game, which shows everything, I will never get those images out of my head, then what could this game have possibly done? How could you need to possibly look at the build? And if you were going to say, like, hey, these are our terms and services now, we've updated it. Well, first of all, this is dating back to 2023, according to Steam's answer here. And again, Femboy Fuda House is new. It came out like 2025 or something. I remember IGN doing an article on it about how upset people were about it using like AI to basically have, the AI was what made the game. Like, point is, you can't fall on, like, it didn't meet our guidelines then. Your guidelines have gotten more strict now, but you've got games like that out there. Just mind you, I'm not advocating for the censorship of that. Look, not my cup of tea, but if someone wants to play something like that, that's all on them. They get to make those choices. It's their money. It's a legal product. So why are you being picky and choosy? Why are you being selective? What is up with the recent strand of horror games that don't have content that's any worse than what you see in these pornographic games that are straight up allowed on there, all of a sudden being told they cannot be hosted on the platform? There is not a sense of consistency.
Our team played through the build and reviewed the content. We gave the developer feedback about why we couldn't ship the game on Steam, consistent with our onboarding rules and guidelines. A short while later, the developer asked us to reconsider the review, and our internal content review team discussed that extensively and communicated to the developer our final decision that we were not going to ship the game. So that was Steam's response to it, and now. This was reported on the 25th. Italian indie developer Santa Region, I'm sorry, says the studio faces closure after its game Horses was blacklisted on Steam. The surreal horror title allows players to mount and ride naked humans on a farm where they must complete strange and unsettling tasks.
Which, by the way, that sounds crazy unless you're familiar with Italian horror. Italian horror is incredibly out there. Watch yourself some Dario Argento films, you'll know, dude. Italian horror is out there. This is pretty fucking par for the course for Italian horror.
Wow. Okay. Well, unfortunately for them, Epic followed behind Steam. And now Epic, this is coming from PC Gamer, Epic bans indie horror game Horses just 1 day after launch due to inappropriate content, despite having approved that content weeks ago. Well, god damn.
What changed? Come on, Epic, what changed? You had an opportunity. First of all, Epic is a laughing stock. You know, like Epic, and when it comes to all of the storefronts for these online PC gaming storefronts, right? Think of the Axis powers in World War II, right? You got Japan, you got Germany, and you got like all right, yeah, Italy was there. Italy is kind of like the little yapping chihuahua that's like, okay, shut the fuck up. Yeah, we'll give you some land too. Like, Italy was worthless in World War II. The Epic Game Store is the Italy of these storefront page of these, you know, game launchers on PC gaming. So you had the opportunity here to do the thing that Steam didn't, to actually make a little bit of a name for yourself, and instead you bowed and kowtowed to the same restriction pro-censorship ideologies as your big brother Steam. Pathetic.
So they approved the content, and then now they're saying they're not going to approve the content. My question is, did you actually review the content? Now, obviously, we haven't played this game. We don't know what's in the content of this game. But based on some of the things that I'm seeing in like the trailer and some of the reviews, boy, this is insane. So the crazy part is, this person here, I like what they said. So I hear about this indie game called Horses, a horror game where humans are horses and you get rode by other humans. Long story short, questionable stuff gets banned, stays banned. People make the argument that Steam lets even more disgusting titles on their platform, and to simply search the word Hitler in the search bar. So I do, and oh my god. And
now, I'll be real, guys. I've gotten gifted several of these games as jokes by you when you watch me on the live stream. Y'all fucking say, hey, Leon, gifted you a game. I open it up, sex with Hitler. So mind you, yes, can confirm these games are real. Hitler waifu. It says right there, 99 cents, Hitler waifu. I own that bitch. Thanks, chat.
And as you can see right here, furry Hitler. Fuck Hitler. Hitler waifu. Heel Hitler. Sex with Hitler. Furry Hitler too.
Yo, Atreus gotta be so glad he ain't showing his face in this one. Imagine if we clipped this black motherfucker saying Heal Hitler.
Hitler. BDSM bunker. Oh my god. What? So these are the things that are allowed to be on Steam, but apparently a little bit of horse dick is too much.
I mean, y'all know how I feel about horse dick.
Horse semen's great.
I'm digging horse cock.
Is your cock a horse cock? You will never hear me say it, nay. Ooh, as I speak more.
My favorite stallion I keep in my top drawer kinda goes hard though.
Cause there is no cock like horse cock. Send your asshole into shock and eat horse.
I don't know how we're going to ever top horsecock.
It was all a joke, I promise. New subscribers, stick around, still subscribe. I swear I'm not Vosh. There's a reason for that clip, and it was funny at the time.
No, what I saw, this is the comment coming from Epic itself. We're unable to distribute horses on the Epic Game Store because our review found violations of the Epic Game Store content guidelines, specifically the inappropriate content and hateful or abusive content policies. The inappropriate content policy prohibits content which contains explicit or frequent depictions of sexual behavior or not appropriately labeled, rated, or age-gated. The hateful or abuse content policy prohibits content that promotes abuse and animal abuse. This content is prohibited by our guidelines and cannot be distributed on the Epic Game Store.
Look, the animal abuse example is absolute bullshit. We've all been seeing the trailer for this game right now. It's very obviously not real. It is obviously a video game. It's very hyper stylized. By this same logic, they wouldn't have to allow things like Goat Simulator, which, to be fair, maybe Epic Games wouldn't. I don't know. I have it on Steam. But, like, that's the logic we're using. Nobody's actually out here saying, yeah, let's play Goat Simulator to abuse some goats so I can get my rocks off because I can't get away with doing it in real life. That's not happening. So, yes, this is absolutely ridiculous logic. Or about games that use, cartoon characters as, that fuzzy little mascots. I've recently been playing Gory, Cuddly Carnage, and you play as a hoverboard riding cat in that game. Now, mind you, mine is walking on two legs. Cat looks just like a regular ass cat, and it's called Gory, Cuddly Carnage. It's basically Devil May Cry meets Doom meets like a fucking cat hoverboard simulator game. It's crazy. It's insane. Like, they're talking about, biting the cat's head off and everything. The point is, would that be considered animal abuse? I doubt it. The game's been pretty goddamn well received. People were loving it. It's an indie darling. But again, because it's an action game, not a horror game, it seems like these folks are specifically coming after horror games. Why? Because they're easy targets. No different than what happened during the Satanic Panic. No different than what happened when people came after Black Sabbath for their music being evil and being Satan worship. We are literally in the midst of this is horseshoe theory. Whether it be the left or the right, at the end of the day, you get too far to the extremes and they become the same. You got the ultra left and the ultra right all wanting to ban shit for roughly the same ideological reasons, even if they claim otherwise. And I think that Steam and Epic and these other storefronts are adhering to that because of these cultural shifts, or even worse, because of these payment processors. Now, again, there's no proof that payment processors are tied to this, at least none that I've heard yet. Obviously, we have more of the video going on, but if we were to say there's at least a chance there, because we've seen it for so many other examples just in the last 6 months to a year alone.
When we, Epic, filed out the IARC questionnaire based on the content that we reviewed, it received an adult-only rating. Products with adult-only ratings cannot be distributed on Epic Game Store. The only exception is for products in cases where an AO rating was applied solely due to the usage of blockchain or NFT technology. You have some options on how to move forward. You can make updates to your product to ensure the compliance and resubmit it for review. If you believe we made a mistake, you also have the ability to appeal the decision. You can appeal by
why would this receive an adult-only rating? Like, I'm truly confused. Why would this? Because thus far, I've not seen anything worse in this trailer than what you see in, like, let's say Outlast, for example. Like, if you were to compare this trailer to some of the horrors you see in Outlast, I'm really not seeing much of a difference.
replying to this email or creating a private discussion on our developer support site. Select Epic Game Store as the topic. 3, you cannot change the title or content to repurpose it for another game. If you choose not to move forward, we'll refund your submission fee for this product. So there you have it. That's what Epic Games had to say regarding that. Now, Santa Region says they had to say this about the delisting. In short, their team saw the press coverage and temporarily delisted horses to reevaluate it. After a full review, they determined that while the content is heavy, nothing in the game warrants. Oh, this is actually good. My bad. Good. I'm reading the wrong thing. This is actually Humble. Apparently there's a...
Yeah, you know what? Good on you, Humble. I'm glad that you have made the proper choice. I know a lot of people say some ridiculous shit about Humble because of the, ideological stances that they've taken and some of the stuff they've chosen to host. But you know what? Good. At least this means they're being consistent across the board. If Humble's going to host all that, pro-LGBT shit nonsense and whatnot, and you guys don't like that, hey, fair enough. But they're choosing to also host this. They're choosing to also host horses, which just means to me, sounds to me like they just out there hosting shit because they want to make money and they don't really care about the ideological factor. That would be my guess.
There's another site called Humble that distributes game as well. And following the publication of that story, Humble has also made the decision to delist horses from its storefront. And they responded.
Wait. So, as of yesterday, they changed this. I jumped the fucking gun in praising Humble. I take it all back.
They actually re-enlisted it. So, I mean, there you have it with them. I'm sorry about that. Now, Destin Legary has been...
Wait, okay, so hold on. Is it re-enlisted or is it not? Hold on. We gotta check on this. Is horses available on Humble? Horses available on Humble Store, though, was temporarily removed and relisted after a review. The controversial indie horror game has been delisted by several platforms. Humble decided to return to the store. Okay, alright, perfect. So, 23 hours ago, PC game. Alright, so 23 hours ago it was delisted. 16 hours ago it is back on Humble after a full review. Alright, All right, so never mind. We're good. It's back on Humble. We can yeah. I retract my retraction.
All over this. He started out by saying, I worry that we'll one day find out why both Epic and Steam did not distribute this. Steam lets a lot of weird stuff on their platform. Your red flag should be raised, in my opinion, if horses didn't make the cut. Okay? So that's what Destin Legary had to say regarding some of the issues. Now, he had more to say. So Destin Legary says, Horses shows abuse, depictions of slavery, physical and psychological torture, domestic abuse, sexual assault, suicide. It also implies someone is raped until they die. It's implied someone commits necrophilia on the corpse. Why are we mad about this ban? The game originally had a minor writing a naked person. It's crystal clear why it was banned. Go watch any of the 2-hour Let's Plays out there. Interesting. I'm going to come back to that. He says, to make it clear, horses can make what they wish. They chose to make a game depicting slavery, rape, domestic abuse, sexual assault, suicide, and more. Steam has absolutely zero obligation to distribute it.
They do that. Oh, I mean, you're right. I guess that technically they don't have any obligation to distribute it. They don't have any obligation to distribute any game. However, there needs to be some philosophical and some, moral and ethical consistency here. Again, if you don't like the content of this game, you simply don't buy the game. You don't play the game. Again, you wouldn't even be able to get to the storefront without acknowledging that you were 18 or older. Like, oh no, the stuff that's in the video game that's obviously fake is in the game. Like, nobody is forcing you to play this. This is such these moral grandstanding, whether it be hardcore leftist, pro-censorship fascists, or these Christ-fascists on the right-hand side. Either way, like, none of this shit is, in my opinion, inherently a problem. Now, it depends on the context, it depends on the story, it depends on the narrative, it depends on what you're allowed to do. You can have stuff that is absolutely morally objectionable. That doesn't mean that I think it should be banned because, again, it's a fucking video game, but I would also think that, oh no, it has slavery in it. Yeah, guess what? Slavery has existed all throughout human history, and it still exists. Rape? Guys, rape is a fucking thing. It's unfortunate. We don't like it. But once again, all throughout human history, and it continues to be a thing. Domestic abuse? Same. Sexual assault? Same. Suicide? By the way, you don't need to put sexual assault when rape is on there. We get the picture. You're effectively just doubling up at this point. Suicide? Again, who gives a fuck about suicide? I just got, I've been playing, I've mentioned this in multiple videos, right? I've been playing Persona. Guess what? Persona talks about suicide. Persona handles suicide. For a long period of time, you'd think Futaba's mother committed suicide. It turns out, if I remember right, she's actually murdered for her research, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, yeah, games deal with suicide. You move the fuck on. It's rated M for mature, or I guess maybe AO, adults only, but either way, like, it's still obviously for adults if we got the rating adults only. What the fuck is the ESRB even for if people aren't just going to follow those guidelines and be like, hey, this is for adults. You should know that going in. That way you don't buy it for little 12-year-old Tommy.
To distribute it. It's clear many would rather straw man than have an actual conversation. The content in Horses is sexual and well within Valve's right to say it violates their sexual content policies. Horses has a right to exist. Valve has every right to not distribute it. That's my hot take.
But again, there needs to be some consistency here. Why? Explain to me why Femboy Fuda House, which is legitimately hardcore pornography. That's what it is. It is pornography. Can exist on there. It's literally just a game to beat your meat to. For the fucking gays out there. Why is that chill, but a horror game where these sorts of instances, these terrible, awful things, are likely there for some sort of narrative purpose because it's a psychological horror game? Why is that not allowed?
All right, so going back to... So really... Everything that Destin Legary listed, I really don't have that much of an issue with because it's supposed to be art, and some of these things are things that absolutely happen.
Correct.
It is what it is. I always go back to the movie. Was it I Spit on Your Grave? I Piss on Your Grave. It's something like that, where there was literally a grape scene in that, and it drove home the severity of what that girl went through. Now, some people say you shouldn't put that in there. Me, I'm like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If that's what the artist wanted to put in there, then that's what the artist wanted to put in there. Let's see. So abuse. Come on. Like, abuse happens in every game, bro. In Grand Theft Auto, you literally can drive through a crowd of people and kill them all. Fuck out of here. I don't want to hear nothing about abuse. Physical and psychological torture. Torture happens in. Have you ever played the old Punisher games?
You're killing it, Atreus. Never change.
Like, why are we crying? Domestic abuse. Okay, so? Like, what's the problem?
Don't anybody think too hard about the implications about a black guy asking, what's so problematic about domestic abuse? We do it all the time. Come on. You want us to quit running out on our women and leaving them with, single moms? Then we're gonna have to now and again.
SA or sexual assault. I mean, hey, it's a lot of ass grabbing out here in these streets. I'm sorry. Suicide. I mean, if it's part of the story, then what's the problem? Well, and then it also says it implies someone was raped until they died. Well, if they implied it and they didn't show it, then what's the issue?
Correct.
It implies somebody commits necrophilia. Again, implied but didn't show it. What's the problem? But what he said that caught my attention was he says the game originally had a minor riding a naked person. Now, this is a bridge too far. This is a bridge too damn far.
Wouldn't it? I would agree it's a bridge too far, except where he said originally. Originally would imply that content has been removed. If that content's been removed, none of the rest of this is a problem.
Anytime you involve the kids, I don't care if it's LGBTQ, straight, video games, movies, no. The kids, when it comes to anything sexual in nature, the kids are off limits. Sorry. Now, I understand.
See, I even disagree with Atreus here. Again, not that I'm a fan of it per se. Not saying that that's all right, but like take Alice Madness Returns, dude. When you find out the horrors of Alice Madness Returns, the end of the game, lo and behold, it's a pretty fucked up game, and you find out that Alice's therapist was doing some terrible, and I mean terrible things to Alice's minor, I don't know, is it cousin or sister? It's been a long time since I played Madness Returns, so the point, I believe it's Alice's cousin. Point is, like, again, you never see it. It doesn't show anything with children, but it's talked about. It's there. It's again, with the big ending scene is you find out how fucked up her therapist or her psychiatrist or whatever truly is, and how abusive he truly was. Now, again, seeing it, I agree, man. That's off the table. That's wrong. Different story. That being said, if they removed that from the game, because he said originally, then I don't even see why we're talking about it.
He said it originally, so it sounds like it's actually not in the game.
There
if it's not in the game, then, no harm, no foul. But still, why would you ever include that in the game? Anyway, it doesn't matter, though. The game, I guess, found a happy ending of some sort.
Yes, it is still on GOG. That is good to know. I guess maybe. I mean, this is from November, but even so, I haven't heard anything about being removed from GOG.
Says we're proud to give horses a home on GOG, giving players another way to enjoy the game. We've always believed the players should be able to choose the experiences that speak to them. To support the Santa Regional Studio in this difficult time, we've decided to launch pre-orders on horses today. This was on the 28th. Grab yours and celebrate their creativity. Well, I don't know about minors riding the backs of naked people, but hey, have it how you want to. So I don't know. What do y'all think about this whole situation? How do you feel about games being removed from the store? How do you feel about Hitler being allowed on there, but not naked horses? I don't know what's going on. I'm floored. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. As always, may the grift be with you. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah, no, this was an excellent video. Obviously, the link to the video, the original video, will be down in the description. Make sure to give my boy Atreus a like and a sub. He obviously put some work into this. I'm gonna be real. I'm probably, now that I have it confirmed, it's on GOG. Obviously, I have a GOG account. I've really, again, only used it to purchase old games. I think I'm gonna pick up horses. I do. I'm gonna pick, just as a fuck you to Epic, as a fuck you to Steam, because the censorship is out of control. Again, if you don't like this sort of game, if you don't like the content in the game, that's fine. No one's asking you to like it. Dude, everyone got their own different bar and their own limits. Some folk don't want to play anything beyond, Mario and Kirby and Smash Bros. And that's cool as well, dude. I got no issue with what you do and don't like. What I do take issue with, what I do take exception to, is people trying to morally police and force their ideologies on the others. And again, the dude can say Steam has no obligation to host this game, and that is technically correct. But again, we get into that double standard territory. Yeah, Steam doesn't have any moral obligation to, or any obligation, financial, moral, otherwise, to host this game. But if that be the case, then why does Steam allow all manner of other egregious shit on there that people, in my opinion, ought not be playing? But they're choosing to because that's their God-given right, because they're fucking adults and they can make those choices. And if they're not an adult, well, guess what? That's the fucking parents' job. We don't need a nanny state to make sure that all the little children are safe. We don't need these fucking technocorps being all nanified. We don't need these technocorps making sure the children, beyond the obvious safeguards, right? Hey, you put in some, you put in like an age gate, make sure you have to verify your age, things to that effect. That's good. That's what we need. Parents really just need to do their fucking jobs and just make sure the stuff ain't being purchased to begin with. That's not up to the corporations, and it's certainly not up to Big Daddy government. So yeah, I'm gonna buy horses. But these are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word, and please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about the gaming industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check us out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles you go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos you react to on the daily live streams, of course, get involved with over 250 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to go even further, because we do care about diversity. Only one kind of diversity of thought. That's interesting to you. Join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.